Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 298th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Today is a New Year's Day bonus battle. As you know, most of the time I just put a battle on a Saturday morning, but I thought today I would put on a special New Year's Day bonus battle here. So, the team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member JGP, who has bought the Rome SBQR faction. And then we have RTW player Krataros. A lot of you will know Krataros, a very good 31k player, and he has bought the Rome SBQR faction. And then our third teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. As you might see here, I've got only 12 infantry and 6 cavalry. This is an old army of mine, very old army of mine, and the infantry, most of the infantry have got an experience stripe on. So it'll be interesting to see if that experience stripe does well as the game progresses. This should be a really great one for you to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. And here is the other team. We have RTW player Lackjack. A lot of you will know Lackjack, very good 31k player, and he has bought the Rome Brutio faction. Their next teammate is Titans Mohammed. A lot of you will know Mohammed, and he has bought the Rome Julio faction. And their third teammate is IOW Esrax, and he has bought the Macedon faction. Now at first glance you might think, oh, he's got no cavalry in this Macedon army, but if we look a bit closer you can see that he's got 5 good companion cavalry units in behind his infantry. So that looks a pretty good team to me. This battle has got the ingredients to be a really good one, and I hope you enjoy this bonus battle. Okay, at this very early stage of the battle here, you can see that Titans Mohammed is moving his Julia army forward in a very aggressive way. And also you might have noticed that the Macedon enemy player has moved his Macedon army into the centre of his team there. Okay, so you can see here that Mohammed is bringing his Julia army in a very aggressive attacking manner here against our ally JGP. As I said in other battle videos, if you're attacking, if you're the aggressive player, then of course the other team can only react to you, and you can kind of get them to kind of dance to your tune, if you see what I mean. So as you can see here, Mohammed being extremely aggressive. If you notice there, he used that 1 cavalry unit in ordinary formation there to take out JGP's 2 archer units there. He kind of rolled that cavalry unit off of his infantry movement there and took out those 2 archer units. Nice little move there. As you can see, JGP is reacting by turning his infantry to face the threat and bringing his cavalry over as well. So you can see by doing an aggressive attacking movement like that how you can disrupt the enemy battle line there. Now I'm not sure what happened here, but can you see Mohammed is now pulling his Julia army back. I didn't see a glitch there at all, so I'm not sure why he's pulled, because he's kind of given up a bit of a movement advantage there by pulling his infantry back. I definitely didn't see a glitch there, so there must be some tactical reason why he's done that. Maybe he's waiting for his Macedon and Brutio ally to move over. Should be interesting to see. Okay, so as you can see here, Titans Mohammed is once again attacking, being aggressive. If you notice, he's being backed up by his Macedon allies' cavalry there as well. So he's got 2 lots of cavalry, his own and Macedon's cavalry, to help with any attacking moves that he does on this left flank of ours. As you saw earlier, Titans Mohammed's tactic in this battle is to be very aggressive, very attacking here. And as you can see there, he's just routed one of JGP's forward units. And also, as you can see here, lots of pilot exchanging going on between the 2 armies there. If you notice there, because JGP lost one of his pilot shield units there, he's had to just construct another few units to put in front of his main battle line there. Right, nice little cavalry hit there, surgical cavalry hit there by the Julii cavalry, hoping to rout or seriously damage some of those JGPs, some of JGP's units there. Nice, as I say, surgical hit there by the Julii cavalry. If you notice, the Macedon cavalry was just coming in there and then he decided to change his mind. Now if you notice here, can you see that Craterus is throwing 2 of his units head on into the Macedon infantry there. Now remember, very often we talk about attacking pikes head on is not something that we usually do, but maybe he's doing that to maybe help take a bit of pressure off of our ally on the left flank. If you notice here, to try and take pressure off of my ally on the left flank, I am doing a right flanking action here, trying to push the enemy Brutii general back and trying to disrupt the enemy battle line in general. All that's just to try and take pressure off of our left flank here, which seems to be under a lot of pressure there. If you notice that Craterus has moved his infantry further over to our left flank here to try and support JGP. Nice bit of teamwork there by Craterus. But as you can see, there's a lot of enemy cavalry there. Looks like they've pulled the hammer back on the rifle, almost ready to pull the trigger there and charge in. So I just hope that my allies there with cavalry support as well as infantry there will be ready to counter any big cavalry hits on this left flank. As you can see here, they're both, it's like they're both ready to pull the trigger here on either side. Let's just pause the game for a second. So as you can see here, our left flank to me looks like it's quite depleted, and there's a lot of enemy cavalry there ready to charge in to maybe try and smash our left flank. We've got cavalry support out there as well to maybe counter any cavalry hits, but I'm sure players looking at this can see that our left flank is a bit precarious. In the centre here you can see Macedon against Craterus' infantry, but over here on the right flank, as I said earlier, I'm trying to do a right flank in action. Can you see how this Macedon, these Macedon pike units here have offered me their flank? Now I'm prepared to smash into the flank of those Macedon units there, but I'm just wondering whether they'll spot that and move the Macedon units away from the threat. You see I've got my 6 cavalry units ready to charge in as well if needed. Right, so as you can see here, I'd already eyed up the flank of that Macedon formation there, but if you notice, that part of the formation has been moved back out of the way, make it a little bit safer there. But if you notice that Craterus is sending in some of his SBQ or infantry. Meanwhile over here on our left flank you can see a lot of the Julii and Macedon cavalry charging in, and bang as that cavalry hits into our SBQ or allies infantry, routing loads of our infantry there. If you notice here, our SBQ or cavalry are doing a counter-attack. Craterus is bringing some more of his infantry over and some more of his cavalry over. But for all intents and purposes here, our left flank really does look in a precarious position here, and maybe this left flank could prove pivotal to the outcome of the battle. I think whoever wins here on this left flank could well go on to win the battle here, so as I say, it could prove pivotal. You've got the Macedon units there moving over as well, over towards our left flank. Let's say over on our right flank here, I'm trying to press home my attack, trying to make the enemy send reinforcements over to this flank, while I'm going to take my cavalry over there to try and help my allies over on that left flank. Remember, lots of teamwork needed here, because as you can see, as I said earlier, our left flank is looking in a really bad position there, and the enemy look poised to smash through. So as you can see here, things not looking very good. Right, you can see JGP sending his cavalry in to attack that Macedon unit, but he's going to be hitting the flank by Julii cavalry, and bang as that Julii cavalry smashes into his flank there. He's going to have to pull his cavalry back there. He doesn't really want to get into a tussle with them, I don't think. I think their numbers will tell. Right, can you see my blue Scipii cavalry charging in? Now what I've done is I've spotted the flank of that Julii infantry there. Now what I'm hoping to do is when I impact with the enemy infantry, I'm hoping my allies will send their cavalry in as well. I'm hoping this charge will provoke my allies into charging all their cavalry in here. A big mass cavalry hit here, as the Julii cavalry, if you notice, we're over here on the left flank trying to counter some of JGP's cavalry. So I'm hoping here that maybe this big cavalry hit, bang as that cavalry goes in from both sides, bang as the Julii cavalry goes in. Let's just pause the game for a second. So we got loads and loads of cavalry here. all of our SPQR cavalry, my Scipii cavalry, and all the Julii and Macedon cavalry here are involved. Plus, don't forget there's infantry being mashed in the middle of all that too. Plus, you can see that Macedon is bringing some of his pikes over, and Craterus is sending some of his infantry in as well. As we move over to the right flank here, can you see that I'm moving in here, trying to roll the Macedon units up from right to left here. Just trying to take as much pressure off that flank as I can, hoping that if I put pressure on the right, they might send reinforcements over onto the right flank here, and obviously take their troops away from this left flank. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a really massive cavalry and infantry bash here on our left flank. As I said, whoever wins here, maybe both teams have realised that whoever wins here could be pivotal to the battle's ending. If you notice here, I took my Scipii cavalry back, rallied, pulled the hammer back on the rifle, and I've now pulled the trigger. Bang! I'm going for that red Julii general. I'm just hoping my allies will send in their cavalry at the same time as well. Obviously, when you charge in with cavalry, you need good coordination, good combination cavalry hits here. Can you see Craterus's cavalry up there? I'm just waiting for him to charge those cavalry in. Come on, Craterus, charge those cavalry in. We could break the enemy here if you charge them in with us. But notice I've now had to pull my cavalry back, and now Craterus is sending his SPQR cavalry in, and bang, as that cavalry hits. Nice hit there by Craterus with his cavalry, but I can't help thinking that maybe if we'd have all combined together, we might have broken the enemy flank there. If you notice, I'm charging my Scipii cavalry in. Once again, I'm going for that Julii general. Bang, as my cavalry hits there, trying to cause as many casualties. Can you see that the Julii cavalry are now counter-attacking my cavalry hit? There's Macedon cavalry going in there as well. See Craterus cavalry charging him. But JGP's charging his cavalry in there as well to help out. That's great. Let's just pause the game for a second. So over here on the left, you can see that JGP's cavalry and my cavalry are trying to do the best we can on this left flank. JGP and Craterus' infantry are up against mostly Macedon and Julii troops there. But meanwhile, over on our right flank here, can you see I've sent a couple of units over there to get in behind the enemy. But if you notice now, can you see that the green Brutii army are kind of almost engulfing my old small numbered Scipii infantry there. So, as I say, at the moment, I don't think things looking very good. You can see Craterus is bringing some cavalry over to this flank. And as I say, you can see my army being aggressively attacked there by the numbers of Brutii infantry there. But as I say, maybe here over on the left flank, as I say, this could prove crucial to the outcome of the battle here.
The gods be praised! The enemy general is dead! His men know their doom.
As you can see, there's not a lot of enemy red troops left here, but also not a lot of allies SPQR troops either. So the left flank seems to be kind of up for grabs at the moment, if you see what I mean. See JGP charging his cavalry in there, once again trying to take out that red Julii general there. Those two units I sent out to try and harass and harangue the enemy there, I think they're both going to get taken out by that big cavalry hit, which they did do there. So if you notice here, can you see that JGP is taking his cavalry right the way over to our right flank there, and is now going to charge in a hammer and anvil attack into the back of Lackjack's Brutii infantry. But you can see there, Lackjack's got loads and loads of infantry there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I've only got 7 units there. And I think I'm facing basically all of Lackjack's infantry there, pushing into my infantry. But do you remember what I said earlier at the beginning of the battle? Remember, this is an old army of mine, and the units that I've got left have got an experience stripe on, and this will really help them hold as the battle ensues. Right, can you see Mohammed charging cavalry in, and bang, as that battle damaged cavalry hits my infantry. Now that would probably break a gold shield, gold attack only infantry. If I didn't have an experience stripe on there, I think that cavalry attack with all that Brutii infantry pushing in on that my infantry would have broken my infantry there. But it just goes to show what an experience stripe can do for your infantry. Right, there can you see Craterus charging his SPQR cavalry into the back there. Let's just pause the game for a second. So as you can see here, my units there of 7 units or 5 units, whatever it is, holding against all that Brutii infantry, and Craterus charging his cavalry in behind. If you notice here, I think it's Craterus charging his infantry into the Macedon pikemen there. Can you see those pikes? They've got to fight all the way down those pikes to kill the Macedonians on the other end. So you can see Craterus still got his general left, giving a full general morale bonus to his fighting troops nearby. But if you notice here over on the left flank, we've done quite well. From what it looked like we'd lost that left flank maybe, we've managed to at least neutralise that left flank of ours. But the action now has switched from the left, if you like, over to the right. Right, if you notice now, Craterus is pulling his cavalry back. He's being hit by Macedon cavalry and remnants of Julii cavalry there, so he's pulling his cavalry back there. I noticed that the Brutii general there is really pushing his infantry forward. He's trying to run his infantry through my Scipii units there. He's really putting the pressure onto those hard-pressed Scipii units of mine. But as I say, newer players watching this, can you see how my army is managing to hold against those numbers, against that cavalry attack earlier? That's what an experienced stripe can do. And also, if you notice, my general's still alive as well, giving morale bonus. Okay, switching back over to the left flank here. You can see that there's some battle-damaged Julii cavalry moving across here, probably with a view to smash into the rear of our allies' engaged troops. But say back over here on the right flank, you can see that Craterus is still sending his cavalry into the back of those Brutii infantry there. Now the Brutii infantry have got so many numbers, they could get units in behind my army if they wanted to there. Right, so remarkably, over on that left flank that looks so precarious for us, it looks like we've managed to win on that left flank. So that was really well done there by JGP and Craterus. Really well done, guys, over on that left flank. Let's say it was extremely precarious there. Right, can you see the enemy Brutii troops aggressively attacking my Scipii infantry still? And still, that infantry of mine is still managing to hold. I'm just waiting for Craterus to charge his cavalry into the rear of those Brutii infantry again, to free up my troops to go and help fight those Macedon units. If he could just charge into the rear of those engaged Brutii troops for that cavalry, that could be a big help to the team.
Now they flee.
There, can you see the Brutii general running his troops forward again, trying to force his troops through my infantry there, trying to run them through, but my infantry still holding firm even against that. Right, if you notice, my allies now are bringing over infantry and cavalry support here. They realise that if you look over at the Macedon general there, he's not going to attack, he's just formed up into a defensive box now. So that gives us plenty of time to take out his teammate here, which we would do, hopefully. Take out the Brutii general. As you say, we're not going to be worried about that Macedon general there, he's just forming up in a defensive box. He's shown us that he's just going to be defensive there, which may be a good move in the long run for the battle, but it doesn't really help his ally here, who's going to get... I think looking at what's happening, you're probably going to get smashed with the cavalry hits going in and all the infantry surrounding him as well. I know at this stage of the battle I switched from being defensive and started to attack forward, going for that Brutii general with my infantry as well. Bang, as those cavalry go in there. Nice hit there by the SBQR general. And there we go, I think the Brutii general now has been killed, so it'll only be a matter of time before we take out the rest of that Brutii. Yeah, there you go. That's all the Brutii army has now been taken out. Let's just pause the game for a second, because I feel we're going to move into phase 2 of the battle now. Just look at the men I've got left in these units. 16, 6, 6, 6 there, and 20. So that's all the men I've got left in my units there. And we're up against this Macedonian defensive box, which is a really tightly formed box there. Let's say it's going to be a difficult box to break. Bearing in mind all our troops will probably be tired. All our pilers would have been gone now. You know what I mean? All our pilers would have been thrown by now. So it's going to be very difficult to break this box, I think. As you can see, the troops that I've got left, I think I've got something like about altogether, maybe about 30 odd troops left. 35 maybe, but not a lot. As you can see here, my SBQR allies are charging in. We've got one SBQR unit that's been routed already. They're really trying to put the pressure onto this defensive box here. If you notice here, I'm charging my infantry forward, wanting to engage the enemy troops here on the corners of that box if I can. I see there's a rogue Macedon unit, if you like, that has reformed, probably rallied and is coming back into the fray. Maybe if that unit goes into the back of us, that could make the difference here. Right, did you see there how the Macedon general tried to reform his box there under pressure? That first unit was being attacked, and as he moved the other unit back, it kind of the morale dropped of that one that was left out on its own, and it is now routed. Remember, if you're forming a defensive box, if you start doing major movements when you're under pressure from enemy attacks, that can affect the morale of the troops. That one Macedon unit that rallied and came back looks like it's been hit hard by Craterus cavalry and infantry who've just taken it out there. Okay, can you see two of the units there, Macedon units have routed. If the SBQR general now runs his troops through, forces them through now into the back of those engaged other Macedon units, it'll force a rout. And I see the Macedon general unit has routed as well there. So it's just finishing off, and there we go. All the Macedon units have now been routed there. Okay, just before we go to the results of the battle there, I'd just like to say that as you can see here, the battle was only a 3v3, but see how intense it is from one side to the other. See the dead. It just goes to show how intense the fighting was here. All the way from one side of the battlefield to the other. You can see all the dead. And as we go over to the left flank here, where maybe the battle actually kicked off as such, we expended so much cavalry into this area. You can you see all the cavalry? Remember, that's where all those massive cavalry hits were going in on this left flank. You can see all the dead cavalry there. That's how intense the fighting was from one flank to the other. And as I said, remember, this is only a 3v3. So here we go, and it looks like our team has managed to go on and win the battle. Now, there's only one disappointing thing in this battle, and you're just going to see that in a minute. Very disappointing it was for me. Right, can you see that the replay is finished? Now, what actually happened was one of the enemy team locked the game up just at the end here, and so I saved the game, but it didn't save the actual battle results, unfortunately. So I can't give you the battle statistics, you know, the kills and everything like that, unfortunately. As I say, one of the enemy team locked the game up just at the end. So I can't do that for you, but I hope you enjoyed this battle. It was an exciting battle, and I think that left flank did prove pivotal in the end. So this is Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.